Hey guys, and welcome back to Film Jumbo. Today we'll be taking a look at the top 10 dishes that can actually kill you. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to turn notifications on for more great videos like this one. At number 10, it's nutmeg. While most of us look at nutmeg and think of it as a spice, a nice little dash of flavour for our coffee, or any other food who needs its rich, aromatic, nutty flavour, nutmeg is actually a hallucinogenic at higher doses. Nutmeg can cause dizziness, vomiting, nausea, central nervous system excitation, and even death. It takes about 2 tablespoons before someone starts feeling the painful and powerful effects of nutmeg, but it's definitely no joke and has landed hundreds of people, often looking for a cheap high or good time, in the hospital. The toxicity of nutmeg is surprisingly high for something that's sold in grocery stores and found in plenty of home spice racks. There's a surprisingly small margin between the amount that'll simply spice up your eggnog and the amount that'll cause toxic effects. It's powerful enough that it was even historically used as birth control to terminate unwanted pregnancies and to fight the Black Death. At number 9, apricot seeds. In the United States, it's difficult to buy whole raw apricots in the produce section of the grocery store, and there's a reason for that. That reason is the lethality of apricot seeds. They can kill you if you eat them. Apricot seeds contain a chemical called lytriol or amygdalin, which is highly toxic. Many people falsely believe that apricot seeds can cure cancer. They are also sometimes ground up and sold as vitamin B17. In the human body, amygdalin is converted into hydrogen cyanide and can kill the person who consumed it. As we will see, many fruit seeds are actually poisonous for one reason or another, but apricot seeds, vitamin B17, lytriol, or whatever you wish to call it, definitely produces cyanide in the gut and can definitely kill you. At number 8, it's almonds. In 2014, Whole Foods had to recall some of its bitter almonds, which contain traces of hydrocyanic acid as well as glycoside amygdalin, which when heated or exposed to certain other conditions or chemicals, will be converted to hydrogen cyanide. That's right, amygdalin again. Just like with the apricot seeds. Both raw almonds and apricot seeds are marketed as health products, but both can be deadly when ingested. Cyanide compounds are actually pretty ubiquitous and plentiful in nature. In fact, if you walked out into nature and just began eating food, many of the things you ate raw could kill you, as is without human intervention. At number 7, potatoes. Glycoalkaloids are a chemical compound that occurs naturally in many various plants, such as bittersweet nightshade, a plant related to tomatoes and, believe it or not, potatoes. These plants contain solanine, a chemical which, in large enough doses, is actually toxic. Symptoms of solanine poisoning include nausea, dizziness, rapid heartbeat, and worst of all, respiratory failure leading to death. Yes, you can die from eating potatoes. A fully grown 91 kg adult would need to consume 0.9 kg of fully green potatoes to ingest enough solanine to kill them, which, if you think about it, really isn't a lot. At number 6, tomato plants. Tomato plants are another potentially lethal plant and also a relative to the bittersweet nightshade plant as mentioned above. Thus, as logic would deduce, parts of tomato plants are also loaded with glycoalkaloids and possess solanine, with all the same symptoms as the potato, including vomiting, nausea, dizziness, drowsiness, and of course, respiratory failure up to and including death. The good news is that the poison resides in the leaves and the vines, not in the tomatoes themselves. So eat as many actual tomatoes as you like, to your heart's desire. Just stay away from the green areas, like the vine the tomato grows on. At number 5, it's hot dogs. Hot dogs kill people all the time, believe it or not, which is unusual for such a lovable, albeit unhealthy, snack. Hot dogs are an American icon, a staple of many diets for decades, but they're just as deadly as everything else on this list. However, hot dogs are deadly in a different manner. They aren't poisonous and don't come with some mysterious, hard-to-pronounce chemicals lurking beneath the surface waiting to intoxicate you. Hot dogs are actually a major cause of food-related choking. No, this isn't a slapstick joke meant to conjure up cartoonish images of old movies or cartoons. This is a bona fide, legitimate fact. A child dies from choking on food every 5 days in the United States, and hot dogs are one of the most common foods that a child can choke on. But when you take a second to stop and think about it, you pretty much couldn't intentionally design a better food object for someone to accidentally choke on. As long and cylindrical as hot dogs are, it's almost as if all you have to do is inhale and the hot dog will fly in and get stuck in your throat. Nonetheless, hot dogs have earned their place on this list by being a legitimately deadly food. At number 4, it's fugu. Fugu is a dish prepared from pufferfish, which is served as a fancy dinner in many restaurants worldwide, but particularly in Japan. Part of the draw is this fish's toxicity, which makes it a very expensive item that's often served more as a garnish in extremely small amounts, tiny slivers of which might kill you. The toxin in question is called tetrodotoxin and is found in parts of the pufferfish, none of which must make it into what's served to guests. Chefs in Japan must complete 2 to 3 years of training in order to be licensed to prepare fugu. Tetrodotoxin is 1,200 times deadlier than cyanide. A minuscule amount is enough to bring a grown man to his knees, killing him. Pufferfish generally contain enough tetrodotoxin to kill 30 people. When experiencing fugu poisoning, the mouth begins to burn along with the tongue, and a slow, slurred, drunken speech begins. The heartbeat begins to become irregular before the respiratory system shuts down completely, killing the person who ate too much. There is no antidote for fugu poisoning, but it isn't always lethal, and sometimes the victim can be flushed of the remaining poison and survived. Eating fugu is a gamble, but that's part of the draw for some people. At number 3, it's ackee. Ackee is a fruit native to West Africa and is grown in Jamaica as well as parts of the Caribbean. It's a pear-shaped fruit in the same family as lychee and a few thousand other relatives. But ackee can't be bought raw in the United States either, with a federal ban on the importation and sale of the fruit. It can be bought canned, but there are strong restrictions on canned importation due to ackee's potent toxicity. If the fruit is not ripened fully, consumption can lead to disastrous results. Jamaican vomiting sickness is a name for ackee poisoning, and it sometimes actually kills people. Generalized weakness, dehydration, and confused, crazy, panicked mental states are the initial onset of symptoms, starting 2 to 6 hours after consumption. This can quickly progress to seizures, coma, and death. The fruit is definitely not something to be messed around with, hence the extremely restrictive ban by the US Food and Drug Administration. At number 2, it's cherry pits. Cherries are a delicious fruit we all know and love, and most of us have grown up with them. There is cherry flavoured just about everything today, from soda to ice cream, but beneath the flesh of a cherry is an extremely lethal pit, or seed. And many of us probably remember swallowing them as a child because whole raw cherries can be purchased at many grocery stores, as is with the pits included, unlike apricots or ackee. So what's the culprit in cherry pits? Amigodilin, yet again, with its hydrogen cyanide potency. For such a lovable fruit, the availability of cyanide directly on the inside is pretty astonishing. You shouldn't just ingest cherries by swallowing them whole, regardless of what cartoons and video games may tell you. It's extremely dangerous. A man in Lancashire, UK actually got cyanide poisoning by consuming a mere 3 cherry pits, which almost ended up killing him. In at number 1, it's apples. Like cherries and apricots, the poison in apples lies in the seeds, but nobody really knows about that. Cyanide toxicity takes place at 0.5 to 3.5 milligrams per kilo of body weight, and apple seeds could do the job if you were to eat enough of them. As usual, amigodilin is the culprit, and the resultant cyanide can kill you quickly. Each apple seed contains about 2 milligrams of amigodilin, but rest assured, you would have to consume over 140 apple seeds for it to kill you. Which, if you obtained 8 seeds per apple, would require about 18 apples. There are 700 milligrams of cyanide in 1 kilogram of apple seeds. So what did you think of our countdown of the 10 dishes that can actually kill you? Let us know in the comments. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Film Jumbo and turn notifications on for more great videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.